The company IBM conducted a global survey amongst 1,500 CEOs from 33 industries spread across 60 nations, and all of them were asked one common question. What's the number one leadership personality trait that you look for when you are hiring your incoming workforce? And can you guess what was the answer? Intelligence, discipline, hard work? I guess it's all out of fashion because their answer was creativity. Now the question is, how do we measure something as complex as creativity? About 100 years ago, a puzzle was designed to analyze people's creative problem-solving ability, and this is called the 9-dot puzzle. And I think you should definitely give it a try. It's got 9 symmetrical dots, and with the help of 4 lines, you have to touch all of these dots without lifting your pencil. I'll give you an example and that will help you to understand this. Now I can draw lines of any length. 1, 2, 3 and 4. As you can see, we have missed a couple of dots, so this is a wrong attempt and we need to try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again we missed a couple of dots. Alright, so feel free to try n number of combinations, scratch your head, and when you give up, come right back because I'll reveal the answer to you. Now it's time for the big reveal. I'm about to tell you the answer. Are you ready? It's 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you're like most people, you wouldn't have crossed the boundary of the box, a boundary that never existed. Your mind has created a limitation, a box for itself. I promise you, if you stick around till the end of this video, I will share with you some scientifically researched and proven methods that are known to skyrocket your creative thinking potential. Now, before we jump into the solutions, I think we should take some time out to understand why exactly is this happening? What's the root cause? Have you seen this somewhere? People who claim Mona Lisa to be the most popular artworks of all time, I think have not considered this masterpiece because this composition is a part of everybody's childhood. No matter which school you've been to, your parents, grandparents, and even your would-be children in future would be drawing the exact same composition. How does every 5-year-old across the world come up with 2 mountains, a rising sun, and flowing river? Remember when we were in school, our teacher drew this composition on board and we had to replicate that exact same thing in our drawing books. Without questioning, without observing, just follow what's being told. And that one kid in class who's almost like a human Xerox machine, the one who replicates it the best, is given the title of a creative mind in school. In fact, our definition of creativity is so distorted that it's only once someone picks up a couple of brushes and dabs in a few paints, we believe that they are creative. In school, when I used to sketch these funny looking doodles in my textbook, my friends would look at my cartoons and say, you should take up a creative career because you're creative. And I actually believed their words. When I went into a design school and we started to learn and practice what the actual creative thinking process is, I realized that my life has been a lie. You don't even need to lift your brush to prove your creativity. You know what's the essence of creativity? It's your courage to ask questions. And when there's a problem, you fearlessly experiment. And you know, when we experiment, we succeed by mistake and we fail by default. And you know how we've been conditioned to deal with failure since school. Failure is so looked down upon in school system that in fact it is one of the leading causes of depression, stress and anxiety amongst teenagers. Somehow, let's say you've mustered the courage to escape the trap of stress. The kind of advice and motivation you receive is even more depressing. You know, when I was in school, one day I forgot to do my assignment or my work, I don't remember clearly, but my teacher yelled at me in front of the class and she said, "Did you forget to eat? Did you forget to sleep? Then how could you forget to do your work? Get out of my class." It's only once I got out of school, I realized what a ridiculous question that was. Yeah, sure, you want to inculcate some sense of discipline in me, but you're telling me that the bare minimum care a child must take of their health to literally stay alive is equivalent to your copy-paste homework, which has never taught me anything in life. Sleep deprivation, in fact, is worn as a badge of honor, something that you should be proud of. But nobody really tells you you're inviting long-term, irreversible heart diseases. It's almost like all your youth, all your teenage, you're being prepared, you're being subconsciously trained to choose all those lifestyle decisions which are definitely going to attract long-term illnesses. All of this seems really depressing, but the most fascinating part is that we're all born with equal potential and creativity. The problem is, as we grow up, we are conditioned to stop believing in ourselves. So here are the 3 rules we need to keep in mind which will help us to skyrocket our creative thinking skills. Rule number 1, stop judging or giving up any hobby or interest. When we learn or try something new, there is a brand new neuron connection that gets formed in our brain. And the more we practice that skill, the stronger that bond gets. The more gray matter you develop in your brain, which ultimately results in higher intellect and creative thinking skills. Some of the most intelligent people in this world are perfect examples of this theory. If you're a MS Dhoni fan like me, then I'm sure you've seen pictures of him playing football too. Now, football and cricket have nothing to do with each other. Wright brothers, the 2 geniuses who invented the airplane, were also passionate hockey players. Did you know that Yuzvendra Chahal, the Indian team's leg spin bowler, was also a national level chess player? Brian May, international guitarist, is also a PhD astrophysicist. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, had taken up calligraphy classes in college. Because he had learned so much out of that course, he was able to translate all of his learnings of font, space, and aesthetics to later give all Apple products a visual makeover. The designer of the Japanese bullet train was a passionate bird watcher, and his extensive study helped him to come up with the design of a bullet train that was so revolutionary. Sir J.C. Bose, Indian physicist, was also a prolific author for numerous science fiction novels. I can just go on and on, the list never ends. But you get my point, right? The more diversified learning you have, the higher the chances of you coming up with new innovative ways to solve everyday problems. I'm sure you've seen this material somewhere, right? What we know as Velcro today, did you know, was invented by a Swiss engineer, and it took his hard work of 10 years to come up with this simple mechanism. And this humble ballpoint pen came into existence after 3 inventors put a lifetime of their efforts and 60 years of labors to produce this one product. And of course, how can you forget, it took 1,000 unsuccessful attempts to finally come up with the invention of a light bulb. Each of these iconic products, ideas, and services that we are surrounded by today were not born in a day. It is a long, long process. And if we want to be a part of that process, we obviously need to stay alive. And to stay alive, you need to have a sound mind and body. And for this, you obviously need to be a lot more kinder to yourself and believe in yourself. Sleep isn't a luxury, isn't a sign of laziness. Neurologists, psychologists, doctors around the world have spent years proving and researching the importance of a well-rested sleep. Sleep does not just impact your memory, your productivity, your health, but also skyrockets your problem-solving ability. It's literally the least we can do to maintain our creative potential. Now, remember I told you that to be creative, we have to enjoy the process of experimenting. Now, unfortunately, we are really scared of failure since school time. So the only way or the only technique that you can use to detach yourself from the outcome is if you truly enjoy the process of experimenting. A popular psychology experiment was conducted by Harvard University's senior psychologist, where they observed a class of 5th graders. And this class was given a set of puzzles to solve. The class was divided into 2 groups. When the first group of kids could solve the puzzle, the teacher began to praise them for their intelligence. And the second group of kids, irrespective of how they performed, were praised for their effort. That's a lot of hard work, keep it up, good going. So that was the first round. After some time, for the second round, the same kids were given a choice between 2 types of puzzles. One was easy and one was challenging. Which type of puzzle do you think the intelligent kids picked up. They chose the easy puzzle. You know why? Because they were so attached to that newly earned title of intelligence that they did not want to lose it, even if that meant playing it safe. And the second group of kids, who were praised for their efforts, chose the challenging puzzle because they were not attached to the success or failure of their puzzle solving. They actually started to enjoy the process of solving, which gave them the courage to face something challenging. No matter what you're working on right now or studying right now, take a moment to ask yourself a question of why are you really doing this? What will you gain out of it? If you study something today, of course, you'll be able to earn a good grade if you do well, but how long will that grade last? And how often can you really carry your report card to everywhere you go? But today, if you learn something and you challenge yourself to come out of your comfort zone, that knowledge, that experience will change the way that you solve a problem that you might face tomorrow. I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. If the answer is yes, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. That really motivates me to come up with more and more videos. We're very close to 100K. Please make it happen really soon. It's all in your hands. Thank you so much for all the love and support. If you have any more suggestions for me, topics for me, you can write all of that in the comments and I will try my absolute best to get back as soon as possible. Till then, have a fabulous day ahead and always stay creative. Bye bye.